All right, Larry Krueger here for the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show outside Levi's Stadium on this Friday. Look at that beautiful sky behind me. For the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show, Larry Krueger here at Levi's. After everything that happened on a Friday here in Santa Clara, let's recap everything that happened down here. The morning started with Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network saying, I don't get the sense that there are alarm bells going off about Christian McCaffrey at this point. And, you know, I mean, the question, of course, the first question that comes up when we hear Christian McCaffrey having issues with the calf is it a recurrence of the bilateral Achilles tendonitis that he had a year ago? And has he re-aggravated it? Is it bothering him again? He only played in 4 games in the 2024 season after he was the 2023 Offensive Player of the Year. Matt Maiocco guessed this morning that the Niners were likely going to list Christian as questionable for Seattle, and he has been listed as questionable for Seattle. But we talked to Christian at his locker, in the locker room, and he said he feels great and he's ready to go on Sunday. So there you go. You know, the kind of movements he was doing on the field don't indicate necessarily an Achilles or a calf problem, but who knows? You know, you just never know what's going on in somebody's body and how they're feeling and so on and so forth. But Christian says, you know what? I feel good. I'm ready to go. I'll be there Sunday. So we'll take him at his word. And, you know, good luck to Christian this weekend and good luck to the Niners. You know, as far as the other injury news of the day, you know, there was no Yatir Gross-Matos today at practice, so his status is kind of up in the air. Jordan Watkins has got the high ankle sprain. He was out there, but as far as Shanahan told us that Watkins is doubtful, Jordan James is doubtful, CMC is questionable. And, you know, it's funny, Kyle was asked, what's your level of concern about Christian McCaffrey? And he's like, 50-50, you know, I mean, it's like, I gotta, you know, it's basically that. We also talked to Brian Robinson. He's ready to roll. You know, he's like, hey man, I'm ready to roll. He knows the game plan. He's only been here for a short amount of time. He doesn't know the entire breadth of the offense, but he knows enough about the game plan this week. And really what it is it's like every week there's a new plan, right? And it's like, how well can you learn that week's plan? So do you need to know the whole offense? Well, yeah, in an ideal world, it's nice to know the whole offense. But in reality, to get ready to play an NFL game, you got to know the game plan. You got to know the game plan. You got to know how to execute the runs that you're going to be asked to execute. So Robinson seemed very confident. You know, he's a very confident guy. And he said the Niners brought him in for a pre-draft workout when he was coming out of Bama. So he got to know some of the people and some of the coaches then. He's real excited to be here. And if he's got to go heavy workload, he's ready for the heavy workload. He's a big, tough back who's a starter in this league and has been for a number of years. And he just seems totally unfazed by whether he's going to have a small workload, a medium workload, or a large workload. Whatever it is, it seems like he's ready to roll. Couple other notes. Tanner Mordecai went unclaimed off waivers, and so he is now a free agent, able to cut a deal anywhere he wants. As I mentioned, we did see McCaffrey at practice in the brief snippets that we got to see. He was in uniform. He was doing his loosening drills where he loosens up, a lot of high knee and that kind of thing, some running up and down the field. I tried to put out a video of it. Niner PR was like, no, but then other people put it out, but whatever. It doesn't matter to me. But anyway, either way, CMC was you know, participating in practice, and he told us afterwards he's ready to roll. It's going to be an interesting game for Brock Purdy. He's going to try to go forward without almost 35% of his 608 completions last year. The receivers that were on the other end of those completions, you know, you got 35% of them that aren't here. So it's going to be a big adjustment for Brock Purdy. Should be a really interesting battle, the Niner defensive line against the Seattle offensive line. Seattle's got their 5 projected starters on their offensive line have a combined 35 starts in 2024. They have only 3 O-line starters return. Abe Lucas played 7 games last year, and Anthony Bradford played 11 games. They've got Jalen Sundell from North Dakota State making his first career start at center. You have Greg Zabel making his NFL debut at guard. So you got a very young offensive line on their side. And of course, on the 49ers side, you've got, Bosa and probably 3 new starters, whether it's Jordan Elliott, Kalia Davis, Mikael Williams, Bryce Huff, CJ West, Alfred Collins. It's a Niner remade defensive line against the Seattle remade offensive line, and something's got to give. It will be Sam Darnold once again quarterbacking for Seattle, and he had a good game last year against the Niners in Week 2. He threw for 268 yards in a Vikings win in Minneapolis over the 49ers, and we'll see if the Niners can speed him up and move him off that spot and make him uncomfortable. History shows, whether it was at SC or in the pros, if you can speed up Sam Darnold, he's going to throw you a pick, and he may throw you 2. So that will be probably the number 1 game plan for Robert Saleh. Make Sam Darnold feel the Niners' defensive line. If he does not feel the pressure, the Niners are not going to win this game. He has to feel their pressure. Now, the Niners are trying to bounce back, right? They were 6-11 last year, last place finish in the NFC West, and they're taking on a Seattle team that finished 10-7 in their first year under Mike McDonald. Niners will also currently have 10 rookies on their 53-man roster, and they're going to ask their rookies to play and maybe play a significant role here in Week 1. Maybe mostly in the secondary with Upton Stout and Marquise Siegel. The big task for the 49ers on defense is to stop Jackson Smith-Njigba, the number 1 receiver for the Seahawks. He had 100 receptions last year for over 1,100 yards, and he is dangerous. He operated last year out of the slot. This year, it's going to be a little bit of everything. They move him around. He's going to be in the slot, but he's going to be outside as well. So you're going to see him matched up with Upton Stout at times in the slot. You're going to see him matched up with Demo Lenore on the perimeter. And how the Niners can slow down JSN is probably going to determine who wins this game. As I said, we talked to Brian Robinson in his locker. He's ready to shoulder the full workload if necessary. I think another key matchup for the Niners on defense is Nick Bosa and Bryce Huff off the edges against Charles Cross and Abe Lucas. I think that could be a major advantage for the 49ers, and that's an area where I expect the Niners to win. Brock Purdy has never lost to the Seahawks in Seattle. He's 3-0. He's looked great on the practice field all year with his $265 million contract, making him the 7th highest paid quarterback in the game. Purdy, Lynch said it on the radio. He's like, Brock Purdy doesn't change a whole lot. He's the same guy all the time. And I don't think the money has changed him. If anything, it's probably made him a harder worker, eager to see what he looks like because he's looked great all summer in make-believe football. Now let's find out what it looks like in real football. Mikael Williams, the 11th pick in the draft, will be playing his first NFL game. And I'll tell you, man, this guy's just a great all-around athlete. I was talking to him for a second, and all of a sudden he picks up a basketball. He starts dribbling it between his legs. Next thing I know, he's shooting threes from the corner, and he's just hitting nothing but net. I mean, not that it's going to help him rush the passer or stop the run or play defensive line in the NFL, but, man, Mikael Williams is a phenomenal athlete because this guy is he can absolutely shoot the rock. He can absolutely play basketball. The big question as we get closer to game time is who's going to start at safety opposite Jason Pinnock. Is it going to be the veteran Jair Brown? Is it going to be Marquise Siegel? I think we've gotten indications that it could be Siegel. And if it is, he'll be making his first NFL start in Week 1 as a rookie. And that's a lot on his plate right there. But it's going to be fun to watch either way. Either way, you're going to see Brown and Siegel, no matter who starts in the game. One other football note that isn't related to the Niners, but, John Lynch said this morning that, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And this was in regards to the question of, hey, did you guys show any interest in trading for Micah Parsons? So I think it's possible or even plausible to think that the Niners made some offer to Dallas for Parsons that Dallas rejected. On that defensive end note, I don't know if the Niners had any interest. They probably did, but who knows? The Eagles signed Zadarius Smith today. So the rich get richer as the Eagles add another edge rusher to their already really strong offensive line. I asked Kyle if we may see Sincere McCormick called off the practice squad, and he said absolutely. If we decide we need him, we could definitely activate him tomorrow. He also was asked about Yetur Gross-Matos, and he said, Yetur Gross-Matos is ready to go. I had a chance to go in the locker room and talk to some of the players. Had a great conversation with Jordan Jefferson. It's really interesting. He watches a lot of film, and he watches a lot of cut-up film. He's really excited for his first game in a Niner uniform. Had a chance to talk to Big Alfred Collins, who's really determined to make the most of his rookie year. This is his first game. I asked him, "Are you going to take a chance, before the game, to maybe look around and take in the fact that you're playing in the NFL?" And he's like, "Absolutely, man, absolutely. I always appreciate where I'm at." So that was really interesting. So overall, kind of an interesting day in Ninerland. The CMC news from yesterday appears to be, I don't want to say much ado about nothing, because that's definitely not the case. They wouldn't have reported the injury if there wasn't some pain or soreness or issue there. But he showed no signs of it today on the field for the brief snippets that we saw. And then when we asked him about it at his locker, he said, "Hey man, I'm feeling good. I'll be there on Sunday and I'm ready to roll." So we shall see. We should also tell you this 49er football season is presented by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chats, season-long leagues, and of course Sleeper picks for daily fantasy product. Use the promo code Larry and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Big fans of Sleeper, guys. The link's in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Sleeper for being a sponsor in this video. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.